Hey guys, welcome back to the kitchen. Today it is all about fried chicken. Now I know we've done fried chicken on the channel before, but I always just seem to manage to find my way back to fried chicken, and this one is an absolute doozy. This is harissa fried chicken, made really crisp and golden, then dusted liberally in harissa spice mix. We're gonna serve it alongside some crispy potatoes and a gorgeous green aioli that is booming with flavor. The great thing about this recipe is that it is total weekend comfort sort of food that you're just dying to dive in and eat. And if you're like me and have a bit of time on the weekends, it's the perfect recipe to do. So we're gonna crack on by roasting our potatoes in the oven. I have some baby potatoes which I've just sliced in half. So I'm gonna pop them into a roasting tray alongside plenty of oil. You can use a neutral oil here, something like a grapeseed or rapeseed oil is ideal. We're gonna add plenty of seasoning in the form of black pepper and a good seasoning of salt. And I'm gonna use a little bit of the harissa spice mix that we're gonna coat the chicken in alongside here. So you only need about a pinch here, but it's that red, fiery, dark heat that it adds. So give that a good little toss. I have my oven preheated at 200 degrees Celsius, and we're gonna get this in and roast it off while we make up our chicken. Now it's gonna need about 45 minutes or 40 minutes, just until those potatoes have nicely softened and crisped up on the outside. These are now going to go into the oven. They're going to roast off at about 200 degrees Celsius just until they're nicely cooked through. You've got crispy edges, but the potato inside is nice and tender. Now, while the potatoes are in the oven, we're going to make a marinade for our chicken, and this is key to getting the flavor into our chicken thighs, which is essential. I always think chicken thighs just fry off nicer, so always use boneless, skinless chicken thighs. We're going to make up this very simple marinade with some yogurt. If you don't have this, you could use something like buttermilk. You're looking for the acidity here and that kind of creaminess that you get from yogurt. To this, we're gonna add plenty of harissa paste. This is that essential ingredient here to get flavor into your chicken. It's a beautiful North African spice paste that is booming with flavor. It's not really about the sort of wild hit of spice. Instead, it's this slow build of dark heat that works really well. And alongside chicken, it works a treat. So we're gonna add some garlic in there for our aromatic. And then plenty of salt and pepper. And now to bring it together and add a little bit more acidity and to make the chicken nice and tender, a good glug of vinegar. Give that all a good mix up. And you get left with this gorgeous kind of pinky creamy marinade that's gonna add so much flavor to your chicken. So I'm gonna tap that off. And now it's time for the chicken. So for our chicken, I have some chicken thighs that I've just sliced into kind of bite-sized, slightly bigger than bite-sized pieces. And I do that because I want to get a really nice coating all the way over the chicken. So let's pop that straight into the marinade. You want to marinate the chicken for about an hour or so, just for it to take on that flavor. But you know, even in about 30 minutes, you'll still get that flavor infused into the flesh of the chicken. So that is our chicken nicely marinated at this point. We're gonna set it aside and leave it for as long as I possibly can. Now, while the chicken is marinating, we are gonna make the serving sauce, which is a gorgeous green aioli with a combination of herbs. I've got some coriander, some mint, and really what you're looking for is something that's gonna give that vibrancy of color, but also add plenty of flavor. So into our food processor. You can do this by hand, but it takes a lot of chopping, and this is just the easiest way to do it. So I'm gonna add in our herbs straight into the food processor. To this, we've got 2 large free-range egg yolks going in. On top of that, we've got some crushed garlic and a good splash of vinegar. Get the lid on, and we're gonna give it a blitz up. Okay, this is looking good. I've blitzed up the herbs now, and we should have a nice smooth mix that we can now drizzle our oil in to make this aioli. So on a high speed, I've got sunflower and olive oil being poured in until we create a really unctuous and beautiful aioli. Now, I can tell you that this is the easiest method of making aioli, particularly if you're making a big quantity like this. And the beauty of this is that I have done 0 whisking, but I'm left with this really gorgeous and thick green aioli. So I'm just going to transfer this out into a nice little bowl, and then we've got an aioli that's ready to rock and our chicken's ready to fry. So now we have this spectacularly green aioli that is ready to rock. It's gonna go wonderfully with the crispy chicken and those potatoes. And now that our potatoes are nearly cooked, it's time to crack on with our coating for the chicken. I have a big pot of oil that's coming up to temperature. I have a mixture of spices and 2 types of flour. I'm using corn flour to give us that really crispy hit and plain flour to kind of bulk it out. So our spices are some paprika, a little bit of cumin, some ground coriander, a fairly hefty seasoning of both salt and pepper. And then, like I said, our crispiness really comes in the form of some corn flour in here. So pop that straight in. Give that all a good mix through just until it's nice and evenly combined. And then we're gonna clean up a little bit and grab a dish that we can lay this flat onto. So tumble out that flour into a flat baking dish like this. And it's just a case of grabbing up that chicken that's been marinating. And if your oil is hot enough at this point now, I would just check it with a temperature. You're looking for about 180 degrees Celsius, that's about 350 degrees Fahrenheit. This has been coming up to temperature and it's pretty much where we need to be. So to fry this chicken, I'm just adding it into a baking dish. We have our dry ingredients now. So it's just a case of dipping that marinated chicken, the wet marinated chicken, into the dry mix, straight into the oil and get it fried off. Takes a little bit of time, but it is so worth it for the end results. Okay, we're in business. We've got fried chicken, we've got the aioli, and the potatoes have now come out of the oven. So it's just a case of serving it up. I want plenty of spice on my chicken, so I'm gonna go in with even more of that harissa spice once it's come out of the fryer. I like that it gets into the little craggly bits and you're able to get that nice pinch of heat from the harissa spice as well. So our chicken is nicely spiced now. It's time to serve up and let's get eating. Last little pinch of salt and harissa spice, and my friends, this is now good to tuck into. It absolutely looks gorgeous, and it's definitely the sort of thing I want to tuck into on a Saturday night. So let's dive in. We've got crispy chicken, ooh, beautiful, and a bit of the aioli. Oh, yum! I'm going back for more. That is just so good. It's a slightly different flavor that you get from that aioli that has the mint and the coriander, and then the sort of deep, dark heat you get from harissa, and then it's all about that crunchy chicken. Oh. There's only 3 kind of key components to this dish. It's so simple, but the flavor is booming, and it's so worthwhile going to the effort of frying that chicken. You could do it in the oven, and you could get kind of crispy chicken results, but really the deep frying does the business to getting that authentic crispy chicken taste and texture. And I feel like it would be a shame not to try the potatoes as well. They are absolutely so simple to do, but they're probably one of my favorite things to serve with fried foods like this. So good. With baby potatoes like that, they need very little to be sweet and gorgeous and tender. That is a winner chicken dinner. And if you want the full recipe, as always, you will get it in the box below over on my website. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, and of course, leave me a comment letting me know if this is the kind of fried chicken you would give a go to. Until then, my friends, I have a plate of food to dig into, so I'll see you soon.